Looking ahead.
All right, looking ahead, we've obviously just spoken about sending people to space on private vehicles. I don't know how we can top that off. But a little article that I found this past week, which I thought was quite interesting, is obviously as we all shift to working from home, it's been more and more important for us to get good gear in our houses in terms of good screens and, really comfortable desks and all of those kinds of things. And so for me, we've obviously all discovered these practicalities now that we are forced to be at home and we don't have the liberty of our employer worrying about every little piece of tech that we're using. And for me, this article was really great. So the idea here is you can strap on a headset onto your head and walk in, even onto your dining room table, for example, and be in any office you wish you could ever be in. So it could be fully augmented. In other words, it doesn't look like anything you can see in front of you. It could be an overlay to a camera. So literally looks like your dining room table, but you could have all of the kind of Tony Stark gadgets you wish. You could have 50 screens all the way around you, every single one of them showing something different. You can interact with the screens, move them around, do whatever you want. Obviously, the sci-fi nerds are loving this, but it's really becoming a possibility because Facebook has put out this little teaser clip of this technology that they've actually been putting together. I think it's fascinating, and I think it could definitely be the future of how we work, Barry.
It's fascinating, Chad. I mean, what comes to mind for me is that I want those views of New York in my office. I remember when I was on a trip, I remember going to some WeWork offices and seeing like amazing views of Central Park and of like the South River and like all these amazing landscapes. Yeah. I'd love to be able to look out across and see kind of the Central Park landscape or whatever. So that's super cool. And I think that we talk about working from home, there's going to be a lot of tech that comes into try and making that a better experience, trying to make it more collaborative and trying to make it more useful. Of course, a lot of people haven't invested in their home office before because they've been working from office so much, right? And so they might not have a very fancy place. They might be stuck in the corner of a little study or a corner of an extra bedroom. And stuff like this allows them to really experience things in a different way. And I think that this has been on Facebook's radar for a while. And we've been waiting to see some sort of VR innovation from them. And so I'm excited to go and check this teaser out. And I'm excited to see what this does for the future of work. I think that after this pandemic, there's going to be so many more companies who are allowing employees to work remotely. And these are the kinds of things that might be perks with working at certain companies. They might be able to say, listen, you can work from home and we're going to send you this headset so that you can have the office of your dreams.
It does really sound so insane. And like you said, Barry, you could, within a second, be in New York City working at a really, really expensive high-rise, which is just insane to think of that. Obviously, there's some challenges here. And for me, the one that springs to my mind is the weight of this thing. Now, I haven't ever worn an Oculus Rift, and I don't know how heavy it is. But I'd imagine if you're wearing it for 8 hours a day, in terms of ergonomics, surely your neck is going to be suffering a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't think it's designed, at least not right now, to wear the whole day. I think that it would be a real struggle, like you say. But I think we're slowly starting to move. I mean, the vision, of course, is to have those glasses, right? The vision is to get to a state where you have basically sunglasses on your face that perform kind of the work of that VR. And so we're far away from that right now. But that is where we're moving towards. And so in all your sci-fi movies, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see either glasses or contact lenses which perform the same things. And so I, for one, am excited about that. Even if you can only do meetings in them, maybe in a meeting you're able to put them on for that hour and then take them off. Maybe that's a way to get started. But who knows, Chad? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, that's a really interesting point, Barry. And it really takes me to my next point, which is obviously that we're now using these video conferencing type technologies a lot more. And obviously the fact that you've got this headset on your face is not really too pleasing to look at. If you've got a webcam showing off your face that, you can't even see your eyes, which I suppose is where the majority of your expressions a lot of the time are coming through. So the one way that they wanted to work around this was to basically have an avatar of you that can show these complicated type expressions on a Zoom call, which really for me sounds so strange, the fact that you've got this avatar of you who's really representing you on this call.
That it is a bit strange. Imagine having a formal meeting and someone's got a less formal avatar in that meeting. It certainly does change the landscape. And what if you're negotiating a big deal, Chad? How do you like play that game of body language and when you're negotiating that giant contract? And so we have to wait and see. I mean, I think that avatars are going to be an interesting discussion when we think about like virtual communities and virtual worlds. We've seen it in gaming so far. We've seen it in those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But when it starts to come into the working world, it's really going to change the way we think about what represents us. Is it the voice? Is it our ideas? Is it the facial expressions? Or is it a combination of everything? And those avatars, of course, are going to become a fashion statement, but going to become like an extension of you.
Yep.
And I wonder what that's going to do for human-to-human communication.
Really fascinating stuff. Well, let's wait and see what happens there. Let's now move on to our next segment.
Across the pond.